Now, me, like many people, when I hear the word business plan, man, I run for the hills. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to lose a good year of my life with all of this drudgery, this gathering information. Oh my goodness, reams and reams of paper. Where does it ever end and why do I need it? Well, first of all, that's not always the case because there are different types of business plans and they're used for different things. For instance, there's an internal business plan and there's an external business plan. And it's just the way it sounds. An internal plan is for internal use. It's not necessarily for dissemination to the public or to other people. Then you have external plans. These are plans for you hand those out to other people, funders, stakeholders, partners, and so forth. So, first of all, as I've stated in so many instances, and I will say this forever, whenever you get lost or confused about anything relating to marketing and business, ask yourself, I want you to put your blinders on and tune out the noise and say, who is my audience? Same thing applies to business plans. No, business plans are not all created equal, and you don't have to do the same type of business plan for every audience. Now, there's the lean plan versus the standard plan, or we might call it a brief plan versus a standard plan. Now, a brief plan might be 10 pages, might have a couple of years of projections, and it's kind of more of an outline, but it's not meaty, but it serves the purpose in many cases. Depends, again, who the audience is. And then there's the standard plan. That's the one that everybody usually dreads, and that's the one that most people are familiar with. So when they hear the term business plan, that's when they go running for the hills because they're thinking about a standard business plan. And it has earned all of the notoriety it's deserving of it because it can be quite arduous. It can be very long, painstaking. And when you hire somebody to write your plan, man, by the time you're done, you're ready to shoot that person because you're saying to yourself, man, I could have done this myself. But what they're doing, they're compiling this information. First of all, you may not have known what you needed to compile. So yes, there is some value. And then they may be more analytical. If you're a creative person, a songwriter or a chef or an artist, that right side of the brain it's just not fashion. It's not made to be doing something as left brain and analytical as a business plan. So those kind of things, you want to bring in somebody, an egghead like myself, to kind of help you out on that. So yes, you may occasionally have to do a standard business plan. If you're trying to go after government contracts, sometimes you're trying to get money from a bank, sometimes you just need somebody wants to know everything about you. These big investors doing an IPO, you can't give them a lean plan. They want 5 years projections. There's also a startup business plan. Now we get probably this is the one we get asked about the most, and that's the startup business plan. These are people who are straight out of the gate. They have a business idea, and they went over to the SBA, and they say, look, go get your business plan. And they may even give them a little template on what they can use. I have a question from one of my followers. Mr. Brown says, why is it for the audience? I thought it was to drive you towards your goals. Mr. Brown, that's a very good point. But your goals, when you take your goals and your purpose, you put it all together, it's still going to come back to your audience. Your goals as a business owner should be to satisfy the needs and wants of a particular audience. So there is no conflict there. Yes, the audience is one thing. Your goals, even though they are a different thing, they should be aligned. Particularly when you start putting the business plan, and that in itself, Mr. Brown, should be a reason why you should put a plan together, so you can make sure these things are aligned and that there's no conflict between your goals and your audience. The startup plan really helps you develop the blueprint for your business. It talks about your products, your services, the type of staff you're going to need, the competition, and if you're going to start a business and you're not sure about many of the things they're going to take to make that business successful, you need to put together a plan. Now, I talked about earlier about sometimes the plan gets in the way of innovation. And while also I said it's never too late to do a plan. Some people say, look, hey, I'm already 5 years into this business. Why do I need a business plan? Well, that brings up another type of plan, a feasibility plan. You may have a business going, But things have changed. You have introduced new products, new services. You've got new partners involved. Things have changed. The marketplace has changed. There is another type of plan called a feasibility plan. Now, there's certain things also when you get into these standard plans or more extended plans, there are certain things that may be included that you won't have in your brief plan, like a marketing plan. Like we're doing a business plan right now that includes a full-blown marketing plan. Because this particular client said, look, yeah, I'm trying to get money, but I also need a blueprint. I need guidance on how this money is going to be spent towards marketing and growing my business. So this particular plan will include a marketing plan, and it'll have a budget, advertising, vehicles, and so forth. And another thing that you might include in one of these more extensive plans is a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Very important when you're trying to really get down into the nuts and bolts on the viability of your business. Now, you can do a SWOT analysis outside of a business plan. Like when we do like a Gantt table for somebody who's putting together a strong marketing strategy, sometimes we'll throw in a SWOT analysis just to ground them. So look, these are your strengths. These are your weaknesses. You got to cover this flank. There's some opportunities that are emerging on the horizon that you want to take advantage of. And then there's some threats you need to be aware of as well. So a SWOT analysis can be standalone, or it can be included in a extended or standard business plan, as well as a marketing strategy. Now, why? Let me just get quickly into the whys of a business plan. Why you need a business plan to begin with? Well, let's talk about that quickly for a moment before we close up here. One, it forces you to identify your company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Sometimes you just haven't given it a thought. You're just going along, life is good, but there may be trouble on the horizon, or you may be missing out on emerging opportunities and trends. A business plan focuses on those. Another thing we talked about, I'm always talking about the 4 M's: mission, market, mindset, and money. Money. The business plan helps you identify how much money you need, and it's going to help that funder see how you plan to execute this plan and this business. Now, if you're like many business owners, one of the things that trail us, that just follow us around, is stress. Poster boy, not proud of it. It just comes with the territory, stress. But if you want less stress, let me tell you something, boy. Nothing minimizes, neutralizes that stress like a plan. When you wake up in the morning and you're not sure what to do, how you're going to do it, how much it's going to cost, that's stressful. Boy, let me tell you. But when you have a plan, it has the steps, what's needed, milestones, when it's going to happen, who's going to do it. Boy, let me tell you, that stress just goes out the window. Now, still some work involved, but a business plan is great for eliminating or at least minimizing stress. We already talked about how a business plan is a great resume for investors and partners. People who are trying to decide whether or not to give you money, lend you money, do business with you, partner with you, be on that government contract with you. Business plan lets them know that this person is up to the task. They have a plan and they're good for the job. And the other thing, last but not least, business plan should include some type of evaluation and analysis of what you're up against, the competition, the market itself. What's going on out there? It's never too late to plan. Some people think you're on the plan when you're getting started. Things change, people change, markets change, situations change. You can plan at any time. And don't let the plan be a stifler of innovation. That's another problem. People say, look, man, you can plan, get paralysis analysis. Yeah, that's true. That can happen. But don't let your innovation, don't feel like your innovation and your planning are mutually exclusive. You can actually do both. But sometimes it may require you to bring in an expert to help you with the planning part while you're being that innovator.